Sense maker.
Chief Christopher Geoman's at the mic, breaking down the noise, bringing clarity quick. Common sense solutions straight to the point. Listen up, let's get it right. Sense maker, cutting through the haze. Chief Christopher Geoman's bringing wisdom to the ways. Practical advice, no nonsense guide. Common sense podcast side by side. Life's complex issues simplified with ease. Chief's insights, you'll breeze through the T's. Real talk, no fluff, just the facts. Get ready, let's tackle the facts. Sense maker, cutting through the haze. Chief Christopher Geoman's bringing wisdom to the ways. Practical advice, no nonsense.
It's time for Chief Christopher Geoman's podcast of Common Sense.
All right, welcome listeners to the Chief Christopher Geoman's podcast of Common Sense. And remember, Chief Christopher Geoman's podcast of Common Sense is coming to you from the stable of Royal TV 247 here in the UK. And at Christopher Geoman podcast of Common Sense, we try to make common sense out of every sense. At this point, I would like to ask, please, if you have not subscribed, I wonder what you're waiting for. Please subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and please tell us where you're watching from, so that it will help us, to know where our base have reached. With me here in the studio is wonderful, pragmatic young man. I call him young man because he's like between the old and the young. When you look at him, he's like the young. When he sits down with the elder people, he will fit in. God will know where to place him. And I will talk about him there. But the topic we're talking about today is something that I would say is not really made by God. It is man-made. I call it man-made because growing up in the north, I was born in the northern part of Nigeria called Kaduna. I was born, bred, buttered in the north. I can tell you that what is happening now and the kind of stigmatization that is happening, especially at it has to come with insecurity, it's something that I have never seen. And sometimes you begin to wonder what tomorrow is going to look like. There is this tag to banditry, and that every bandit is a Fulani, or every Fulani is a bandit. And these things have really gone into our head, our brain, our synergy. And if somebody I saw a disturbing video where in the East, the vigilantes, I don't know whether they're called, whether the ESN or whoever, were actually poaching. I call it poaching. There's these cattle rearers that were seen in the bush with their cattle. So what they were doing, they were just killing all the cows and they were screaming Fulani, Fulani, Fulani. And I'm not going to say they were wrong or they are right, but I can tell you that many people from that part of the country who have really not gone out and have not really lived with other people will not understand that some of these things we see are not really how they are. But how do you convince them when the media is not really helping matters? So to discuss this issue with me today is this man of Fulani descent. When I mean Fulani descent, I don't mean he was converted into Fulanism like me. Some people call me Fulani too because of maybe my color. But in this one, he is a born, his chain, his blood, everything is Fulani. Intelligent, wonderful person. And I'll tell you more about Mallam Ishaq Jae when we come back after this commercial timeout.
Sense maker.
So welcome back after the commercial timeout. Before we went for this commercial timeout, I was talking about my guest, Mallam Ishaq Jae was born 51 years ago into a polygamous household of Ibrahim Jae Fulani, whose parents migrated from Kano to Kaduna State in the beginning of the 19th century. He had his primary and secondary and tertiary education in Kaduna. Both of us attended Federal Government College, Kaduna, Malali. Hello, Pro Unitate. where he majored for his tertiary education, where he majored in mass communication. He's a mass communication expert, and he has actually started his life as a teacher, and in 1999 he switched profession, and in 2008 he joined the civil service of Kaduna State, and later the federal government in 2011 as the Hajj administrator. So he is what we call the Amiru Hajj. That's what I call him. I call him the Amiru Hajj. He is happily married with, as you can guess, with plenty of children. His main hobby is reading. The guy reads voraciously. I mean, his books are just like, the guy reads everything, anything readable, which is funny because people just see Fulani. Once they say Fulani, all you think about is the header, the cattle rearer that you see in the bush. He enjoys traveling and, of course, watching movies, especially that has to do with documentaries and other movies that really uplift humanity. I've known him as a bridge builder who have always used everything within him. It's funny. My children call him Uncle Ishaq. They call him Uncle Ishaq. I remember one of these times that when he was there in Saudi Arabia, I was just surprised when he just asked me of shoe sizes. The guy just came back and drove straight to my house and voila, dropped the shoes, and I was, So please, Mallam Ishaq, welcome to the Christopher Geoman podcast of Common Sense. And please, if there's anything that I've really skipped while introducing you, may you now please tell our audience.
You've said it all, Igwe, and it's nice meeting you once again. Our relationship goes a long way back, since 1988 till date. So practically that is it. Maybe the only thing that might it's not something I actually worry much about is the village I come from. I'm a traditional title holder there. Uh, the Jakada of Shika, which means an ambassador. But that's by the way.
Oh, I want to thank you. Like I said, he's a man of very, very humble beginning. So we'll just dive straight to the. Tell me a little brief about your early life growing up in Nigeria. I say brief life growing up in Nigeria because the Nigeria me and you grew up is turning out to be something else. So the word growing up in Nigeria, tell me, growing up, especially.
Okay. I was given birth to in a village called Shika. Shika happens to be a settlement that came about as a result of the establishment of a farm attached to the Ahmadu University. That farm has metamorphosed now and has become the National Animal Production Research Institute. So the village I come from came as a result of that settlement. Now, as you have in such type of settlements, you'll have different mixes of people from all walks of, from all parts of
Yes.
the country, of different tribes and so on. So that is the village I grew up from. And to give a little context here, like you introduced me, Fulani by tribe. Now, it will interest you, maybe we've never discussed this with you. My father's elder sister got married to an Igbo man.
To an
who
Igbo
came
man,
to work in the yes,
a
who
Fulani
came to
woman
yes,
got married. to an Igbo man.
To an Igbo man, yes.
Come to think of it, you
Mr.
remember
Aduba
there is one of our mates, Bilal, who is Fulani.
Who? Bilal, yes,
Bilal.
yes,
he's Fulani.
yes.
His late mother
Yes,
got
yes,
married to the love of her life that gave birth
yes,
to Bilal. She's an
yes,
Igbo woman.
yes,
Continue, sir.
yes, yes. So I have sisters who are Igbo and
Igbo.
Fulani at the same time. So so that is the 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 family I grew up from. And Shika is is a village, but it's cosmopolitan because there is a lot of mix uh, of people, like I said, because of the National Animal Production Research Institute.
Yes.
We have different people living in Shika from different parts of the country.
Mm.
So the Nigeria I knew growing up. And also, I went to, and my primary school, I attended the Ahmad Bello University Staff School. Yes. So, uh, it at that time, we had students from uh, virtually every continent,
Mm.
not just part of, not
Yeah.
all parts of, but virtually every.
Just like St.
Yes,
Anne's Nursery Primary School I
exactly,
attended. That the president, that
exactly.
the Emir of Kano
Exactly.
attended.
Exactly. So,
Yes.
I went to a primary school that had different types of people. And when I came back home
Mm.
and was telling my cousins who did not attend that primary school of
Yes.
names of my classmates, it
Mate.
was uh,
Yes.
at home, it was a laughing thing because the names they had were Ashish, Samuel. In fact, my first friend was called Henry Olomu. I don't know where he is now. So even the pronunciation of the name,
Was funny.
was fun. Was funny. So that is the
The
primary school.
Nigeria you
Going to
grew
the
up.
secondary school, I attended the federal government
Mm-hmm. Mm.
college, Kaduna,
Mm.
where I also met, people from different. This one is not just meeting, but living with
Living,
them.
yeah.
Yes, for
Cohabiting,
those. Yes,
surviving
cohabiting.
together.
Yes,
Mm.
for those 6 years, and so um, that is the Nigeria
Grew up.
I grew up in, knowing almost everybody from every other
Mm. Mm.
place, and then
Mm.
seeing
Mm.
the differences, and then appreciating those. So that is me going on. That's the Nigeria
Yeah.
I knew, and I still know.
Does it sadden your heart that the Nigeria
Of
you
course,
grew up in is not the Nigeria your children are growing up? I was discussing with my daughter and I said something, I sent her a voice note somebody sent to me, but me and the person actually spoke in Hausa. You understand? Though he mixed it Hausa English and he said something. So I said it to her. I said, so listen to what he said. So when he comes, she's like, Daddy, he spoke in Hausa and I didn't hear what he said. I wanted to, there's a way I wanted to react, but I just remembered, hello, my daughter, my children were born and bred in Kaduna. They
yes.
don't speak Hausa. I was born
Mm,
and bred in Kaduna. I speak
mm,
Hausa fluently. So
yes.
Nigeria, the present Nigeria has is what just happened to them.
Mm,
Because
mm, mm,
when we grew up in the part of Kaduna that I was,
mm,
we were together. In
mm,
fact, it will amaze you to know that our first friends were Almajiris. So
mm,
they were
mm, mm.
living beside us. And
Mm.
then in Sabon Tesha, there was no light then, yeah. The
Yes,
the
yes.
uh, the main DC had not come. The national grid had not come when we moved to that part. So my late dad Of course, you know my late dad is a genius. So we invented our own kind of lightning. Yeah. Do you know he connected our house to that Almajiri school? Because they wake up early morning to pray before they go out. We wake up early to give them light to use. You know, so that they will be able to finish everything they have to do with their prayers before they leave early morning. So while they were doing that, we too will be preparing to go to school. So it was like, why will I have light and you don't have light? So we connected them. So those kids were our first friends when we were little. Yeah, they were the ones we played with when they come. You know, we play with everything. It didn't matter to us what they looked like. We'll go in, bring food, and give them. So that was how we learned the Hausa. I don't speak Hausa, we don't speak English, and we want to communicate. Somehow we must communicate. And that way was how we learned. But after Sharia, Kaduna just split. And you have the so-called Christian side and the so-called Muslim side. And the children growing up now, my daughter is 18. So the children growing up now in that vicinity are just meeting their other peoples. And how does it feel that your children are not going to get that experience that you really had growing up?
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. When you were mentioning Sabon Tasha, my elder brother lived there.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he lived in that Sabon Tasha. And the elder brother I'm talking about is the one who is the first son of my auntie I told you about.
Yeah.
So he lived in Sabon Tasha, but he had to relocate,
He
and
had to.
yes, he had to relocate and he moved back to Badiko. So unfortunately, that's unfortunate thing happened, and then we have two sides uh, of the same city. But hopefully, what I'm always an optimistic person.
Optimistic
I
person.
think the it happened, but it's going to, it might not be as perfect as before, but it's going to be okay.
But I can
It
tell
might
you,
not be
sir.
as good as before,
Yes, I
but
can
it's
tell
going
you,
to.
sir, that in fact, is it not funny
Yes,
that
yes.
every morning I took my time and studied this pattern? That every
Mm,
morning, the so-called people, the people living in the so-called Christian side of Kaduna, every
mm,
morning go to the side of the Muslim part of Kaduna to do their business. And
definitely.
everybody living in
And
the part of the
vice
Muslim
versa.
side come to the Christian side to do
Vice
their
versa.
business.
Vice
Eh?
versa, yes.
And you remember when there is a curfew in Kaduna, when they
Mm.
release the curfew, the 75% of the buses are driven by the people so-called
Yes,
the
yes,
Muslim
yes.
side. And there was this guy that said, Wallahi, that he doesn't enjoy his bus route if his leg doesn't touch Sabu and comes back. In other words, he cannot meet up his quota if he does not go to
He
Sabu
can't.
and come.
He,
You
he,
can't
he
meet up
can't.
your quota. You can't just meet up your
He
quota
can't,
from
yes.
going from Kaswa to Kawu to Kaswa. You can't.
No, no, no.
And
It's
also
not.
the people that
Mm.
the people that were saying see them are rushing to enter
Mm.
the bus of the so-called people that are supposed to
Mm.
be the enemies, and they are the ones that will drive them to town.
Exactly.
And I ask myself,
Exactly.
this is not religious. If it was religion, it
Uh,
wouldn't be like this. I want to suspect that it is just politics. But like you said, there is hope for a better tomorrow. Let me ask you this question too, please.
I never
Yes,
lose hope.
yes. Let me ask you
Mm.
this question, sir. Who are the Fulanis?
Go ahead.
Where did they come from? Um, that is a word being used. I want to really get from if it exists
Mm.
outside Fulani.
Mm.
Is there anything? Both of us did
Mm.
history, and I know there is the
Mm.
Hausa and there is the Fulani. Then you will hear Hausa Fulani. This Hausa Fulani, is it something that was
Okay.
coined in
Mm.
for political gain, or does it really exist? Who are
Mm.
the Fulanis and where did they come from? And how, and tell us, who are the average Fulanis?
Okay. I I am not on authority on the subject, but
Mm,
as far as I have, you hear different and read different uh, accounts of how
mm,
a particular tribe came about. Most of the Fulanis will tell you um, the it was when the Arabs came into Africa, and this we are talking of about over 1,100 years ago. That intermarriage between them and the locals
yeah,
here
yeah.
is what gave back
Created.
to the
Mm,
to the Fulani. Another account will tell you they came from the west, from the Sahel, and so on. The origin is difficult to authoritatively establish,
yes. Mm,
but the Fulanis are a tribe that right now, as we speak, uh, are locals or settlers from far away Gambia
mm,
in the West African coast up to the Central African Republic up to Sudan.
mm,
So you have them spread across the entire West Africa and then Central African
mm.
subcontinent with dialects that some hardly understand other dialects. The same language. The
Wow.
language is fully, yes, but
Is
the dialects are so diverse that
mm,
the Fullo in Mali, when he speaks, it will be difficult for the Fullo in Nigeria to understand. And even in Nigeria, the
mm,
Fullo in Sokoto and the one in Adama will have it. It's difficult for them to converse very well
mm.
because of the differences in the dialects.
Yeah. Even just
And
like
this
the
is
Igbos too.
because
Even
you
like
have
the Igbos too, we have different
the
dialects.
nomadic
Yeah.
lifestyle of Fulanis.
Yes.
They move a lot,
Yeah.
so definitely you will have the languages and
Mm,
changes. So that is the Fulani. Most of um, us are, well, a considerable number are nomads, and then a considerable number are settled, like myself.
mm,
Like I mentioned, my parents moved from Shanono in Kano State, and to my grandparents, my great grandparents, they moved to Kaduna, and then even my parents were given birth to in
mm.
in Kaduna. As we speak right now, our family house in Shika is has not joined walls with any house. To tell you how far away our settlement was
Wow. Wow.
from the town of uh, of Shika. So we have those that have settled like myself, and you have those that still move around uh, with their with their cattle. And these two, have two different uh, lifestyles.
Mm,
One lives exclusively at the mercy or uh, at the needs of the of his cattle. That is the nomad.
yes.
The one that is settled, some of them have retained the the cattle rearing, but some have moved and become uh, and ventured into other
Other
professions,
occupations. Yeah.
civil servants, businessmen,
Mm, mm,
uh, captains of industry, and so on. And now to go to the other question that you mentioned, is there anything like Hausa Fulani?
Fulani,
I'm
yes.
an example.
Okay.
Yes, because there is so much in Nigeria, especially. There is
Mm,
so much intermarriage between the Fulanis and the Hausas that it's difficult to separate one from the other.
mm,
My father is Fulani, but my mother is Hausa.
okay.
Yeah, so, and it's difficult to count 10 houses without having that kind of
That kind of,
uh,
mm,
yes, and so that um, House of Fulani coinage, even though many people say there's nothing like that, I am an example, and there are many of us.
mm. Oh, this is coming straight from you. I take it because sincerely, of course, this debate has been going on that
Yes, yes, yes,
nothing like Hausa. Some people will say, no, we are Hausas, we are pure. There is nothing like that. It's an insult. Some people will say, if you call a Fulani man a Hausa, it's
Mm,
an insult. And so, you
mm,
hear different things, but
mm,
sometimes it's
mm,
good to really get clarity from the source.
yes,
So
mm,
of course, you just answered even the next person I was going to ask you because I was going to ask you,
mm,
do we have, aside cattle rearing, do we have other flag? You've already answered that one. Yeah, there are those that have settled, and there are those that are still that of course that depend on their cattle. Those are the ones that move
yes,
around, and folks like you that even though you could have ranches and stuff like that, but you are
yes,
actually not living off just that, or that you're doing something else. The former president said that he cannot stay without cattle. It's been part of him. He has his ranch. He had his ranch before he died, and it's what makes him
yes,
complete. And here
mm,
in Europe and stuff like that, it's hardly you see a family without a pet. There is a dog or a cat.
mm.
Some people have snakes. Some people
And
have
I don't have
hamsters.
a calf,
You say you have.
and I don't even have a calf.
You don't.
Talk less of a
You
cow,
don't even have a calf.
a calf. Talk less,
Full animal without. I think the Hausa
the
part of the
I,
Fulani has taken
yes,
over you.
yes. So the nomad will look like me as a denigrate that this one is lost. You understand?
We'll take a commercial break now. And after this, I'm going to be asking you, what is your take on the state of insecurity in the nation? So, we'll go for a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll continue. Remember, is with I have here in the house Mallam Ishaq Jae Fulani, a pragmatic young
The
man.
a
Jae. You see,
mm,
every time I pronounce it with English. I just
yeah,
picture
you
this way.
pronounce it in English.
Yes. So Mr. Ishaq Jae, who is a wonderful, of course, you've been listening to him. And this is one podcast that is full of wisdom. I'll see you after the commercial time.
Sense maker.
Chief Christopher Geoman's at the mic, breaking down the noise, bringing clarity quick. Common sense solutions straight to the point. Listen up, let's get it right.
Okay, welcome back from that commercial timeout. And before that commercial timeout, we were looking at issues that it concerns the Fulanese and the misconception of all Fulanese as bandits. Also, with me in the studio discussing this is my wonderful brother, Mallam Ishaq Jae, the Amiru Hajj. I call him the Amiru Hajj. And this is somebody that, of course, when you see the books behind him, you know this man is an avaricious reader. Yeah, then you read all that. All right, sir. I'm going to ask you the present insecurity in Nigeria that has taken a dimension that is dangerous. And unfortunately, those who are actually supposed to do their duty are not doing it, and they're allowing the narrative to go on. We have the National Orientation Agency of Nigeria. All they do is they are quiet till it's election time. That is when you will hear there's anything like because They are supposed to be the ones that are supposed to be giving this orientation that is supposed to actually turn the heads of the people. We have leaders who are supposed to actually do their job, and we leave it in the hands of social media and vigilantes. And suddenly there is a narrative that any attack is that if you see any, once you hear the name Fulani, I was coming back from Abuja one day, and at the bus stop, that Zuba, we got into a bus, and there were two Fulani people in the bus. Everybody started being uncomfortable before we left, but we just kept quiet. Then, to make matters worse, when we got to a certain part of the road, actually, that day, I almost died. One of them, and what I noticed was that before we left, he was a little bit uncomfortable, like restless. But the other one kept telling him, maybe because what I get to understand is that he was telling him to just relax, It was later I got to understand that he was actually pressed.
Pressed, yes.
And before we left, he had wanted to go ease himself. And the other one was like, the boss is filled. Because this is what I got to decipher later. Maybe because I speak a little bit of Hausa. I speak Hausa, and later when the guy started to explain. So the one that was uncomfortable, we now got to a particular part of the stretch. You know how that Abuja road is. He couldn't hold it anymore, and he was, he kept saying he wants to stop. People told the driver, if you stop. So what happened was, between where he said he wanted to stop, we are going a little bit far, and I told the driver, please, it's like this guy is really pressed. He is no more at that point where he said he wanted to stop. If maybe you fear that maybe it's an attack or it's pre-planned. When the bus stopped, the guy ran into the bush to go and ease himself. And later, the journey continued till we got to Kaduna, safe and sound, no problem. But you see, do you blame the people? We don't blame them.
Nope.
It is something that has entrenched into everybody that you know. So tell me, what your take on this designation of all bandits as Fulanis and all Fulanis as bandits, not actually blaming the people that are assuming this, because of course what we see these people, and I grew up with Fulani Herdsmen. We went to farm with them at Maramalido. We had many of them as friends. The normal Fulani that just wants to go to pasture his cattle and go home. So tell me, let's have your take on
it. I want to start by saying that the issue of banditry is not confined to a particular tribe alone. Neither are victims of banditry confined to a particular tribe alone. The reason why I'm making this statement is maybe we've discussed this with you. My dad was killed by bandits as far back as 2010. Him and his friends, were on their farm. The bandits came, shot them, and then just left them there in one of the between Birningwari and Giwa local this is 2010. So that stretch of area from Birningwari, Giwa, Katsina, Niger, Sokoto has a large stretch of forest that is completely ungoverned.
Hmm.
You have zero presence of government because, um, as God would have it, 2 weeks before that incident, I actually escorted them to that farm. They were trying to open up a new farm. It was during the peak of fuel crisis. And then I came to these towns, and there was no, they even didn't know that there was anything like fuel crisis because they were so deep in the forest. There was no school there, no electricity, no water.
Hmm.
So you had almost no absence of government, presence of government in that area.
Hmm.
So it's under those kind of places that this uh, issues of banditry, prospered. So
Hmm.
this is 2010. This is 2010. And when these issues of the kidnapping for ransom
Hmm. For ransom, yeah.
started much later, one of my cousins
Hmm.
was kidnapped
Hmm.
from their settlement, and we had to contribute money to ransom her back.
Hmm.
So the reason why I'm making this statement is to to establish that banditry uh, affects all of us.
Hmm.
Now, unfortunately, when the heat, when it became rampant,
Hmm.
I didn't want to believe um, it was Fulanis that do that.
Hmm.
But later on, it became
Hmm.
apparent
Hmm.
that many of those involved in it are those Fulanis, especially those that are in the bushes.
Hmm.
But the problem is it takes two hands
Hmm.
to clap.
To club, exactly.
Yes, there is no way the person in the bush knows that so and so person is rich in the city.
Hmm.
There will have to be somebody that
Hmm.
is
Hmm. Hmm.
conniving
Hmm.
with.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
person in the bush will definitely need an accomplice.
Hmm.
There is no way the person in the bush will manufacture weapons and get supplies without the participation of somebody that is outside.
Guys outside. Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
So what we see basically in this issue of banditry is the end,
Hmm.
but the chain goes
Yeah.
farther than that. Yes.
Hmm.
So unfortunately it met a fertile ground. You had
Hmm.
people who are living in swaths of ungoverned area,
Hmm.
without presence of
Exactly.
authority, without
Exactly.
education, without
Exactly.
uh, uh, and sometimes um, what will excavate that one is you have those who are law abiding, the ones you are mentioning
Hmm.
in Regina and
Hmm.
Marabarido also.
Hmm.
You have the law abiding ones becoming victims.
Becoming victims.
Somebody who will spend his entire life gather hundreds of cattle in one night, 20 or 10 people will come and just gather all those cattle
Also a lot of them.
and wrestle all of them,
And
and
even
he
kill
has
him
no
in
way
the
to.
process if he resists.
Yeah, yes, and he
Like how
has
your
no
late
way
dad was
to.
killed in the farm.
Yes. So he has he has no way to get those things back, and it's not his fault. You understand? So the entire situation becomes so muddled that it's difficult
mm,
to differentiate those who are innocent
mm, mm,
from those who are the bad ones.
exactly. Mm,
But in all this, if there will be presence um of government in ungoverned
mm,
spaces, you won't have
mm.
those types of problems.
Presence of government in ungoverned
Yes,
spaces.
yes, you can't have
They say
ungoverned
life
spaces
abhors a
in.
vacuum. When you create a
Yes,
vacuum,
yes, yes. Once
something
you
must
have
fill it in.
places that there is no presence of government,
Mm,
uh, it's definitely people, uh, bad elements are going to
mm,
exploit that,
mm,
and that's why uh, I really want to believe that one of the greatest solutions to that problem is people living alone in bushes should not be something that's acceptable. If you are going to
mm.
live in the bush, you should be alone. You should have an address.
You should
Somebody
have
should
an
know
address.
you. Yes, somebody
Yeah,
should
yeah.
know you
Just
live there. You can't just.
I'm not cutting you off.
Mm,
Here in the UK, there are people that whose
mm,
life is just about farming. They live in the
mm-hmm,
countryside. They are in the
yes.
countryside. There is
Mm-hmm,
access to that place.
yes.
If you're traveling along the country, you will see them. They are
Yes.
living in
Yes.
the
Yes.
country, that doesn't mean they're living in the forest. So
Yes.
every empty land, there is no land in the UK except those
Mm,
that are designated as conserved areas
yes.
for wild animals to make sure that the wildlife still exists.
Forest
Right?
reserves.
Then
Yes.
everywhere
Mm,
is farmed.
mm,
Everywhere
mm,
is farmed. So if you're traveling, sir, you will see
mm,
large space of land that is just like, let me just describe, like you're talking about hundreds of kilometers, and you just see people
mm-hmm,
farming. You will just see,
yes.
you know, like mechanized, clean, reached farm. You can see, as far as the eyes can see, you can see there is
Mm,
something like, if we have
mm,
government, that is really up to its duty, and they can, then what those places are should produce food, not produce
yes.
bandits. I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you, sir. You can't just be living no known address, no nothing. You're not, so anybody can come from any part of the world and just create his own
Exactly.
world in a world. Hmm,
Exactly.
hmm,
Exactly. 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 So it's a very important aspect. It is what fuels
hmm,
the banditry. If you have people whose destinations you don't know, or
hmm.
whose origins you don't know, it's difficult
Difficult.
to
Hmm,
yes, and
hmm.
that's why the military are having it difficult. It's not because um they can't. It's because their training is not for that kind of warfare. They are
Yes.
they are trained for enemies that have an identity,
Hmm.
not enemies that are faceless.
Don't
That
have
one
an
is
identity.
a different type of training altogether.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's painful. We have many people who are actually of Fulani extraction that are involved in banditry, but
Hmm.
um, it's not only Fulanis that are
Yes.
bandits. You
Yes.
have
And it's not as
other
if every
people.
Fulani is involved in banditry. Yes. Like I
Exactly. You
told you,
have
the ones that I saw that were carrying their cattle, and these people were just poaching them, just shooting. I'm sure they must have
yes.
shot like hundreds of cattle.
I saw
And I'm
I
just
saw
like, when
that
you
too.
kill these things, you are even creating a problem. What do you do with 100 corpses of cow that you just shot? Will you eat 100? Are you going to eat them immediately? I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, you know. So it's a very nice one. So back to the next question I wanted to ask you, as we try
Mm,
to round up.
mm,
Having grown up in a secular Nigeria,
mm,
attending like a federal government college and everything, and if you were to be like the next president of Nigeria, with what
mm,
it's saying, I asked all my guests these questions. If you were the president,
mm,
what will
mm,
you do differently? How will you tackle this menace? How will you stop this one paintbrush all, and reconnect, rejig the country? I told you, we had Fulani friends when we were farming at Marabanidu. And let me tell you something that happened
mm,
one day. The man was pasturing his cattle, and of course, these things sometimes they stray. They could just stray, you know, when you
mm.
are passing through,
Of
the man
course.
could
Mm,
just stray to
mm,
somebody's
mm,
farm
mm,
and cause a harm.
mm, mm,
So they
mm,
had gone on their way back. He had to stop and told my late mom that it was actually his cattle that did that. Did you see this? It was my cattle that did it. How do we go about the compensation? And my late mom said, because you have, confessed, because you've told me, because I
mm,
felt bad, but because you came back, it's okay. And that's it. Because the man wanted to ask for how do we compensate you for this? Is it
compensate.
monetarily or whatever? My mom said, no, you
Mm,
can
mm,
just forget about it. And I
mm,
still have all these
mm,
memories growing up. My children will never have it, unfortunately.
mm,
So what would you do differently, sir,
mm.
if you were president?
Number one is whoever wants to be a local government chairman
Hmm,
or a governor or a president cannot just aspire for that office just for the purpose of occupying an office.
hmm,
He has to be someone who aspires for an office to solve a problem.
hmm,
If you come with that mindset, that is when you will put your all, you will put everything at your disposal. You will be thinking about the next election.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
You'll be
hmm.
thinking about solving the problems you promised people you are going uh,
Solve problem.
to solve. So, number one, that issue uh, of the leaders in us having exclusive security while others uh,
Have none.
are left to the mercy of what is left will have to go. Yes, the leader will have security, but most of it has to be redeployed
Hmm.
back to to serve the common the
Hmm.
common good.
With no reference to any particular president. Have you seen the security details
So
of presidents in Nigeria? If a Senate president, even forget about the president, just the Senate president. Have you seen the security detail of a seat of
so it's so that is what that's why people want to come and occupy that office.
yes.
That
Hmm.
is what makes people want to come and just occupy. The person
Hmm.
who is coming to solve a problem doesn't have time for that kind of
To
paraphernalia.
start creating another problem.
Yes. So one that number two, this issue of ungoverned spaces.
Hmm.
This issue of ungoverned spaces
Hmm.
is something that has to be uh, has to be handled uh, seriously.
Hmm.
Most of uh, the the nomadic Fulani will have to adjust.
Hmm.
They need to be known. They need to be to have addresses.
Hmm. Have a register,
yes, yes, you need to be identifiable,
you need
because
to be documented.
without that you can't trace
Exactly. You have to be documented.
people. Yes.
Mm, mm,
Um, Thirdly,
mm,
that issue of there has to be it's difficult. It might take a long time,
mm,
more than the time of or 2 terms of a president to do.
mm,
But
mm,
the issue of the grazing system we have right now
mm,
has to be modified.
mm,
It has to be modified. It might take long, but
mm,
it has to shift, because the the land use that based on it nomadic Fulanis
mm, mm, mm.
uh, move is becoming a problem now.
Is becoming a
So
problem.
it's becoming a problem.
And,
So
and,
there
and,
has to
and
be
and
new.
cattle business is actually a personal business. You know, if these
Yes,
people can
yes.
create, like you said, if you're documented and you
Mm.
can create what I call, if you can create what do they call them? It's not NGOs. If you can create
I
groups,
understand grazing
associations,
results.
yeah, you can apply
Mm-hmm.
for a loan from government, buy swathes of land, and graze your cattle. It is something doable, but it only means
It's
that you have an
doable, but
address.
it takes a lot of time. That's why I'm saying it might
Yes,
span more than the election cycle of
exactly, exactly.
years, but it's doable, and there
Yes,
has to be a deliberate plan to make it work.
exactly,
So whoever is going
exactly.
to do it will have to
Somebody has to start.
will have to look beyond his election.
Somebody initiated moving of the federal capital to Abuja.
Yes,
Somebody moved it.
yes, yes.
So it must not
Exactly,
necessarily be
exactly.
that you are the one to move it, but somebody has to start it. Wherever we
Yes,
are
yes,
today, somebody started something. Doesn't really mean
yes.
so. This is
So
what we want to talk.
a lot of
This is what we speak about
engagements and
patriotism. We
reorientation.
must be patriotic. If we are
Yes, yes.
patriotic and we say, look, if this is the problem, okay. So, like you said, first of all, I like this word you said. I've not even thought about it. You must be
Mm,
documented. We must know who you are.
mm,
No country will make progress without knowing who the citizens are. If you
yes.
have groups like the McBan or whatever, you have groups that look, you have documented people. So, okay, you guys are pastoralists. Oh, good. They need this sort
Mm,
of land. We have Nigeria, like you said, lands are everywhere. Yeah. Then you will be registered. If we get this thing, then you take loans and there will be arrangement of how these things can be paid. Investors
yes.
can come in, people can come as investors. You understand? So it is
Mm,
there are countries that most of Denmark and the rest, what do they export? Do they have oil? You have beef, you have this, you have that. These things are doable. It's
they're
doable, but
doable.
like you said, it takes
Mm.
patriotism and foresight.
It will take foresight and
Mm.
strategic planning.
Strategic planning,
It's
that's true.
doable, but it will take a long time to achieve. So there will have to be that national understanding
Mm.
that okay, this is the way that things
Mm.
have to move, and then everybody
Mm.
will pull towards that. That's the only way you can have the buy-in of everybody. It's not easy. It's
Mm.
not easy as just setting a business. You are
Yes.
you are looking at the lifestyle of millions of people that
Mm.
has taken hundreds of years, and to
Mm.
change that lifestyle,
It's not
it
going to
can't
be
be
easy.
done within a short time.
It
It
can be
might
done,
take
but
time,
it is doable
but it's doable.
because we are
It
living the century we are
Yes,
living in. Things have changed. It's
yes,
not
yes,
easy
yes.
to tell somebody that is used to squatting to ease himself to
Mm,
now sit to ease himself, but it has to be done.
exactly. It has to
Life
be done.
has.
Yes.
We need to evolve. We need to
Yes.
evolve. If if you
Mm,
have a Fulanis now, if you have a pastoralists who have mobile phones
mm.
and can go on TikTok, they too they have evolved. They are not just
They have.
carrying
Yes.
radios now. Now they have
Yes.
mobile phones, they have smartphones, they know what to do with the phone. So if you can evolve to phone, you can also evolve in making more from doing less. I really
Exactly.
want to thank you.
Exactly.
All right, it's been a pleasure having you, Mallam Ishaq Jae. It's been wonderful speaking with you, and of course, I know that the discussion continues. We cannot finish discussing about the issues that bedevil our country, and I can tell you that if we continue, if we keep the conversation going on, we can change the narrative. Remember, even the Bible says that faith cometh by hearing, not just hearing the real words. So many people have this mindset that everybody who is a Fulani is a bad person, just like how of course, the Nollywood issues have made people believe that every Igbo man is a ritualist. They have made money through rituals. Kanayo calls himself 9 rituals. And of course, when they flaunt money like that and stuff like that, everybody will just say, that they are all ritualists, or that everybody that has made money from the East is a Yahoo Yahoo. While you have people who are struggling, people like the people, the car manufacturers, the innocents, the Madokas, and everybody who are really working hard, you know. And abroad, in Europe and everywhere, people just paint Nigerians. When they paint Africans, they say Nigeria. They say, oh, Nigerians are scammers, Nigerians are scammers, Nigerians are scammers. While there are many of us who are really working hard and adding value to wherever we find ourselves, regardless of where you find yourself. You add value. The truth is, we are not just here to take, you're also here to add, you know. So remember, please, like, subscribe, and let's keep the conversation going. Share. Let this go round. It's easy. I see people find it easier to share rumors and things that has to do with the wrong things. And because we are used to sharing only the bad things and not the good things, it now seems like everywhere that everybody is bad. Please share this. Subscribe to our channel. Help our channel to grow. And Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, la 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 la. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of our heart. 24th December is going to be my late mother's 82nd posthumous birthday. Mama, I love you so much. Happy birthday. You are the one that taught me everything that I know, everything that is good. And you taught me the virtue of honesty and also empathy. I love you so much. And 29th December is going to be my golden birthday. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to us. Somebody said it's an uncommon birthday to two uncommon people. You see, it's so wonderful, but we give God all the glory. From us here at Royal TV, we say keep watching Royal TV, keep praying for Nigeria, keep being a good person wherever you find yourself. And at the end of the day, one day, we shall all gather to celebrate. Thank you to my guest who took his time to explain to us everything. To my producers, to everybody behind the scene, all my crew members at Royal TV 247. I say, I love you all. Bye-bye.
Sense maker.
Chief Christopher Geoman's at the mic, breaking down the noise, bringing clarity quick. Common sense solutions straight to the point. Listen up, let's get it right.